And we're delighted to have with us none other than Maestro Scott Elliott Woodard, who is the music director of the Butler Philharmonic Orchestra and the West Virginia State Orchestra. Scott, welcome to our program.
Thank you, Steve. It's great to be here. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. And where are you talking from today?
Today, I'm talking to you from Teays Valley, West Virginia, near Charleston.
Uh-huh. And that's you're active with the West Virginia State Philharmonic, so
correct.
We can talk about that. Just for those viewers who aren't familiar with your career, you are an internationally active conductor and educator. We want to talk about that. You've conducted throughout the United States and Europe, and you're a prize winner of both the International Conductors Workshop Competition and the International Academy of Advanced Conducting in St. Petersburg. Sounds very interesting. And you were a student of the renowned Russian conducting tradition descendant from Ilya Musin, and we can talk about that. You're also a dedicated teacher, and you currently serve as director of instrumental music at West Virginia State, and your career combines all kinds of leadership and education. You're obviously a conductor, educator, and you have a lot of international artistic collaboration. So quite a background. Now, what part of that can we focus on? Because I'm most interested to know who the gentleman is, Ilya Musin.
Ilya Musin. I'm so thrilled that you asked about him. I loved any opportunity I have to talk about Musin. I was very fortunate, and to give you a little background, I was very fortunate to be able to take part in a workshop and competition here in the United States, in Georgia, near Atlanta, many years ago, 25 or more years ago. And there were students there of Musin who had been the conducting pedagogue at the Leningrad Conservatory from 1933 until 1999. For 66 years, he taught in the same classroom. And he was the teacher of such luminaries as Rudolf Barshai, Yuri Timirkanov, Valery Gergiev. Those were all students of Musin over that long storied career that he had. And I had the opportunity to study with some of those students in Georgia. And because of that, I had a little bit of success there, as you mentioned. And because of that, I was invited to come to St. Petersburg and continue that study there with conductors and teachers from the Conservatory and the Mariinsky Theater. So Musin's, I feel a little bit like a musical grandchild of Musin. I wish that I had been able to study with him directly, but unfortunately he passed shortly before I became, aware of him and became aware of that style of conducting and that school of thought, and really became immersed in it. So I had the privilege to study with his students.
Well, what was special about Ilya Musin?
Musin was a very interesting character. In fact, if you have any interest in reading a dissertation, which very few people do, by the way, but my dissertation is on Musin and that entire Leningrad school of thought in conducting. And the thing that sets Musin aside, I think, and that school of thought in conducting, is that it's all about natural body movement. It's not as much about technique as some other schools of thought, like Saito, for example, or things like that. It's more about the idea of taking and giving sound, and that relationship between conductor and orchestra, natural body movements that musicians do every day. If I pick something up and hand it to you, for instance, a salt shaker off the table, you say, "Pass me the salt," and I pick it up. My musculature works in a particular way. And so if I want to pick up sound that is light and airy, I do it in a certain way. And you understand that because you've picked up things that are light and you've handed them across, and you've taken and you've given. So the entire philosophy of school of thought is very much about making gestures that are immediately understood by the musicians and can be turned around into the sound that you as a conductor are hearing in your head in that split second before sound happens. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's fascinating. Earlier we were talking with David Rowe, and he was talking about his years of mentorship with Seiji Ozawa. He was talking about Ozawa's way of conducting and how expressive he was and how his gestures were of a certain kind. And I wonder if there's a similarity there between Ozawa's way of conducting and Musin, what Musin taught.
I think very much so. If you watch Ozawa, he was a very expressive conductor, Muson's entire intent with his school of thought was that great conductors can marry technique with expression. Good, decent conductors can be very technically correct or can be very expressive, but they have a difficult time marrying those two thoughts. Great conductors can marry expression with technique. And that's what Muson was all about.
Wow. And clearly you've maybe not modeled, you've learned from that school. So when we see you on the podium, we're reaching back into earlier time in Russian music theory.
Indeed. I mean, it's a wonderful legacy. He was, early in his life, he was an assistant at the Leningrad Philharmonic. He and Mariinsky were the assistants. And unfortunately, Muson never joined the party in Russian politics. He was Jewish, which was a real issue for him in that society. And unfortunately, he never really got to the point where he had an orchestra of his own that he could call his own. And so he decided that I will spend my life teaching this art of conducting. And so some of the greatest conductors in the world came through his studio. And something interesting I find about Muson, if you look at other teachers of conducting, you also often see conductors who come out looking exactly like their teachers when they conduct. Muson was very much against that. He wanted that naturalness to come from you. He never wanted his students to be clones or to be imitations of him. So when you see Muson's students, there are still many of them conducting in the world, you see a very different individual on each, but all with that same underpinning of technique and expression becoming one.
And maybe there was something else that he imparted, and maybe there's no connection here, but when I hosted that concert you gave that featured the Eroica, now it was the Butler Philharmonic, and I didn't expect it, frankly, to be, on a level with any of the major orchestras. Who would? I mean, it's a small regional orchestra. The musicians are professional, all very good. But as you know, I was just flabbergasted by the sound that you got. I mean, you couldn't distinguish that performance from any orchestra, really, that I've ever heard. Is there anything in the study there that helped you not only learn how to be expressive with your arm, but also how to bring that kind of a sound out and get such a mature sound? I was flabbergasted.
Well, first, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm so in love with that orchestra. They work so hard. They're such talented musicians, and there's a degree of trust between us. Me from the podium, I trusting them, and vice versa. And that's a big part of it. But yes, I think the Muson technique plays into this entire thing, because Muson always encouraged his students to become a picture of the sound that you wish to hear.
A picture of the sound.
Yeah. So when you are conducting and you're communicating, conducting is communicating. When you're communicating with the musicians, it's much easier for them to interpret what you want to do if your entire being is involved in the process. It's not just your hands. We often think, well, the stick is important, but you want to hear a particular sound, that bipolarness of Beethoven in the Third Symphony. If you want to present that kind of sound, you have to present that kind of picture, and the musicians know immediately what you're asking for, and they respond in kind. So it's an amazing give and take. And I keep using those words, but that's really what conducting is in my mind, and I'm sure in Muson's was as well. Even the teaching of gestures, it's about giving and taking. There's never any putting down of sound. The old style of conducting that became very popular in the 19th century, what we call the batuta, so the striking sound of conducting. Musicians don't really respond well, in my opinion, to it, because they don't. If you just put your hand down in the sound, well, then you have to restart that hand to move it again, and there are so many confusions going on in the moment. If you're picking up sound, giving sound, it's much more fluid, and it fits very well into the idea of how emotional Beethoven how emotionally Beethoven can turn corners in an instant.
Yeah, he certainly can.
Yes.
Fascinating. Tell us a little bit about the Butler Philharmonic and what your mission is and what the future holds out for this really very, very terrific orchestra.
Thank you so much. I agree. They're a wonderful bunch. They make me look very good. But we're excited that we will begin in September with our 75th anniversary season. This will be our Diamond Jubilee season. We've been in the community for 75 years, over the years with different names. The orchestra started as the Hamilton Symphony Orchestra 75 years ago, and it became the Hamilton Fairfield Symphony and expanded its footprint. And shortly before I came on board, it became the Butler Philharmonic Orchestra. So our footprint is the entirety of Butler County. And for all those 75 years, the mission, the vision of the orchestra has been the same. And I'm so proud to be part of it. But the idea is great music in your own backyard. That's our catchphrase, our buzz phrase. And it was kind of you to say that you felt like that it was a performance that ranked with some of the finer orchestras around, because that's our goal. Our goal is to bring that great music and great repertoire, but great quality of performance into the backyard of Butler County, so that folks who aren't able to travel far distances or don't desire to travel far distances can have a similar experience by coming to the Butler Philharmonic. So it's that great music in your own backyard is something that I take is very dear to my heart.
Now tell us about this. Kind of relates that you're very involved with Anna's project with Sound Espressivo and Cole Orchestra. How did that all develop?
That developed just a few years ago, and I became aware of Anna's program through another individual in the music community. And it has been, first I have to say thank you to Anna and to Sound Espressivo, Cole Orchestra, everybody involved for having us as a member or as a participant in it. It's been a wonderful experience. We've done several concert broadcasts. As you said, we did our Eroica concert with you there hosting. It was wonderful. And the year before, I think we did Scheherazade as a broadcast concert. And on those concerts, we're really privileged to utilize soloists from Cole Orchestra competitions. Some of these young soloists, you were there and heard Calliope Smith, for example, the violinist. We did Zigeunerweizen together, and Kate Lee, and we did the Schumann Piano Concerto No. 1. These are top-notch soloists who come so prepared. And what I've found with these soloists is they're so eager to work together. They're so eager to collaborate. They're sweet in personality, and it's just been a great experience all around. I can't just say artistically; it's been wonderful artistically, but I have made friends through my association with Sound Espressivo that I feel very strongly for, and so I'm just very happy, and we have great plans to keep this partnership alive.
Well, that leads me to my next question. You've been involved with some recording projects with the Butler Phil. So not only has Sound Espressivo broadcast some of your live concerts, apparently you've been involved in some recording sessions. How many recordings have you made, and what does the future look like?
Actually, we've done one recording session. Well, we did a day of recording in 2 sessions, so I guess I should say we did 2 recording sessions, but we intend to continue to do this. It's a wonderful opportunity for soloists to be recorded and have that audio video calling card out in the world when they're trying to advance their careers, and we're so happy to be a part of that. In addition to that, we recorded a great deal that day of new music, composers who need a recording of it's one of the most difficult things in my mind for composers in today's world is to find someone to play your music, to record your music, and to have that legacy continue. And so we were able to record several, I can't even remember how many, but several pieces by new composers. And shortly before this interview, Anna sent me the link to hear the files, and I haven't heard them yet. So I'm so excited to, I know what my evening is going to be now. I'm going to be listening to all those recordings. But we intend to continue doing that. It's a wonderful experience for the orchestra. And it's great to have our name and our brand carried alongside these great performers and composers.
You recall the names of any of the composers that you've recorded?
Oh, goodness. Let's see.
Sometimes it can be hard to remember. There's so many things swirling around. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, there were composers from all over the world. We did a British composer. Oh, goodness. As soon as we hang up, I'll remember all their names. But we did several pieces. One that sticks in my mind is a piece called Escher's Staircase. And I believe you are interviewing the composer today. I think so. Maybe a little later in the day.
Maybe later, yeah.
Wonderful piece. And the orchestra just ate it up, as they say. And I haven't heard it, but I feel like the recording is going to be magnificent.
I'm sure. Well, it's so important to record new music because the only way the art form will grow and continue to thrive. But I must say it's very difficult for any composer to break through and to become part of the canon. If you think about it, you can probably count on the fingers of a couple of hands composers who since say 1975 have become a part of it's not very many.
Yes.
So they're fighting a lot. They're fighting the fact that audiences just aren't used to new music. It's I remember a concert that Daniel Barenboim gave many years ago in Chicago, and it was a piece by Elliott Carter. And it was a piano. It wasn't really a piano concerto, but it involved the piano. And before it came out, before he performed it, he came out and he talked. Barenboim did. And what I still remember, he said, "Now I want you to listen to this phrase in the violins that's so lyrical. He's so lyrical, so expressive. Why don't you play that, boys?" And the audience is thinking, "Wait a minute, this is Elliott Carter. How could it be lyrical?" And it was. And as soon as you start to change your oral viewpoint or what you're not used to, and just accept it a little bit, suddenly, yes, it was lyrical, and it's quite beautiful. But it's never played on the radio, so nobody ever gets it on the radio, and much new music isn't played in the concert hall. So, bravo to you.
Thank you. I feel a real obligation to living composers to be a vehicle to get their music out there, and it's up to the listener to decide if this is for me or not for me. But I feel that obligation. I often say to people when they say, "Oh, you're playing something new," and well, someone had to play Beethoven during his lifetime. He was a new composer at some point in time.
Well, he was quote unquote a madman. He was
right.
He was declared nuts.
Yeah. So I enjoy very much premiering works or recording them for composers, and I think the Butler Phil feels that way as well. The other orchestra in West Virginia, my West Virginia State Philharmonic, has recorded a few brand new pieces and premiered some works as well. There's a wonderful composer named Matthew Jackford that I have commissioned several pieces from. He's writing a piece for our 75th anniversary season right now. And I was able to premiere one of his pieces at the Kennedy Center a few years back in 2019. So it's just a wonderful experience all around to bring new music to light.
Now, in a way, when you're performing the music and talking about it, you're acting as an educator, but you also have an active career just in education in general. And that's, I gather, mostly at Virginia State. Are you doing a lot of teaching there?
West Virginia State, yes. I've been there for about 20 years, and my career there has taken me, all over the university strata, if you will. I've spent time in administration. I was at one time vice president for academics at the university and that kind of thing. But, music is my heart and my soul, and so I've always been a teacher. I was one of those strange individuals who knew about junior high school on that I wanted to be involved in teaching in some way. And so actually, when I graduated from college with my undergrad degree, if you had asked me that day, I would tell you I would have retired as a high school band director. That was my goal. And for about 20 years, I did exactly that. And studied conducting. Orchestral music had always been my first love. I always played in the orchestra as a trumpet player, and had a wonderful teacher of conducting. When I finally decided that, my place is in the orchestra world, I began to study with a man named Paul Balshaw, Dr. Paul Balshaw. And Dr. Balshaw allowed me to conduct his orchestra at the university. And I was the first student that was ever allowed to conduct his orchestra. And I thought it was a great privilege. And he came to me at one point and said, if you want to do this, I think you can. You need to participate in workshops and competitions. You need to network and get your name out there and be successful that way. I didn't want to do that at all, so I turned him down. And he was very polite about it, and came home one day after that conversation, maybe a week later, to find a letter in my mailbox. That's when we actually received letters in the mailbox.
I remember those days.
Yeah. And a letter from the International Conductors Workshop and Competition in Atlanta telling me I had been accepted. So without my knowledge, Dr. Balshaw had entered me in this competition. And so when I went to ask him about it, I took the letter and I said, "What's happening here?" And he said, "Well, I saw something you didn't." And the rest, as they say, is history. That competition got me to Russia, really changed the trajectory of my career.
That's really wonderful. My career path was going to be a high school band director.
Really?
Yeah, the only difference between you and me, though, is that I had no talent whatsoever. So I went into radio.
I'm sure that's not the case.
Well, yes, a lot of high school students don't know what they missed. They're very fortunate about that. So
Indeed.
tell me about some of your future plans and activities as we wrap up our wonderful conversation.
Well, we, as I said earlier, we're getting ready to start our 75th anniversary season.
Right.
And we're very excited that our opening concert will be an outdoor concert. We're going to do a live orchestra to film version of Encanto, Disney's Encanto. Large riverfront park in Hamilton. So we're expecting thousands and thousands of people to be there for that. We will, like most orchestras, do an America 250 celebration concert outside. Beautiful place in Hamilton called Pyramid Hill, which is a wonderful sculpture park with a nice pavilion. And then we start our indoor season. I'm excited that we will open the season with Mahler 1. That will be our big signature piece. We're also opening the season with a dear friend who's coming from Los Angeles to perform with us, Victoria Vols, and she'll be doing the Rhapsody in Blue. Across the season, if you follow the arc all the way to the end, we're going to close the season with a brand new piece by Peter Boyer entitled Rhapsody in Red, White, and Blue. So it was written as a celebration of the 100 years of the Rhapsody, and the initiative was to find an orchestra in each state, 50 states, that would perform this piece. And so we are the Ohio Orchestra. So we're going to open with Rhapsody in Blue, and we're going to close with Rhapsody in Red, White, and Blue. Great. Across the season there, we're going to do some amazing things. Hindemith Symphonic Metamorphosis is on our schedule for this season. The orchestra in West Virginia has a full season as well. I'm doing a podium exchange with the Rapides Symphony Orchestra in Louisiana. So I'll be traveling there in October, and their conductor will be coming to us to conduct Schubert with us, the Unfinished, and the Pakhmatova trumpet concerto. So there's a lot of good music coming up over the year, and I'm just so happy to be involved in all of it.
Well, just to wrap up, there's a lot of good music happening at orchestras, both small, medium, and large, all over the country. People don't realize how in depth, and the Butler Philharmonic is a perfect example. Not everybody is familiar with the Butler Philharmonic, but as I said, when I heard that Eroica Symphony, I'm saying, well, this is as good as anything you would want, and it speaks to the depth of orchestral music, certainly in the United States. People think it's always going away and dying, but it isn't. And the audiences are there, and you're the epitome of what's great about this music in this country.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate it. It's a very arts-centered community, and there's as I said, great sculpture parks. It's just a wonderful arts alive kind of community, and they've been very supportive of the orchestra. And the orchestra in kind, I think, has been very supportive of the community. We're not only doing those traditional type concerts, we're really trying to lure in a younger audience with things like this film that we're doing. We do a silent film every October at an old opera house. Last year we did Phantom of the Opera, and we do a scary movie, if you will, each October at the Swerg Opera House. And if we can lure in that younger audience there, and then give them a taste of Beethoven and give them a taste of Tchaikovsky, this is how we build the audience of tomorrow. And so far, I think we've been really successful at doing so, and I hope we can certainly continue.
Well, good luck with the gala. When is the gala? What's the date of the gala?
Are you talking about the
75th?
Well, that's the entire season is the 75th season. We'll open on October 20. Let's see, inside when we do Mahler 1, we'll open on October 24th at Parish Auditorium in Hamilton. So if any of your viewers are in the area and want to come hear that, it will not disappoint. Our orchestra they're so excited about doing Mahler that I promise you it will not disappoint. And Victoria is an amazing performer. We did Beethoven 3 together during the pandemic with no audience. We recorded it. It's still out there on YouTube for folks to go hear. It was an amazing version of Beethoven 3 with her at the piano. So her Gershwin will be stellar.
Great. Well, good luck with everything you're doing, and thanks for giving us your time this afternoon.
Thank you, Steve. It's great talking to you again, and I hope we can chat again very soon.
Thank you, Scott.
All right. Take care.